Okay, let's jump into Micah chapter 6 for this deep dive.
Sounds good. This chapter, it really sets up like a dramatic courtroom scene, doesn't it?
It really does. You've got the Lord presenting a formal case, basically a charge, against his own people, Israel.
Yeah, and he calls on the mountains, the hills, the very foundations of the earth to be witnesses. It's serious stuff.
Absolutely. And he starts with these, well, almost vulnerable questions, doesn't he? My people, what have I done to you? How have I burdened you?
Right. It's like, tell me where I went wrong before he even gets to their issues.
And immediately the text backs that up by reminding them of, all the things God did do for them.
Bringing them out of Egypt, redemption from slavery, sending leaders, Moses, Aaron, Miriam.
And that whole journey from Shittim to Gilgal, it's like laying out the history of his faithfulness first.
Exactly. Building the context, showing his side of the relationship has been one of grace and deliverance. There's really no grounds for their complaint nor, well, their later actions.
So faced with this sort of divine case against them, how do the people respond? What's their immediate thought?
Well, it's interesting. They immediately go to religious acts, performance. They ask, with what shall I come before the Lord, bow down before the exalted God?
And their suggestions are, frankly, over the top.
Oh, totally. The text lists them.
Yeah.
Should they come with burnt offerings? With calves a year old?
Then it escalates, right?
Yeah.
Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams? With 10,000 rivers of oil?
I mean, just picture that. 10,000 rivers of oil. They're thinking in terms of massive, almost impossible quantities.
And the peak is, well, shocking. Shall I offer my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul?
He shows how desperate they are, perhaps, but also how maybe they've completely misunderstood what God is actually looking for, thinking they can pay for sin with something horrific.
And that's the setup for the pivot. After all this human speculation about grand, costly sacrifices.
Yeah, this is where Micah 6 just delivers that absolutely stunning central message. God cuts right through it.
He basically says, you already know what's good. The text puts it so clearly. He has showed you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you?
Not the rams, not the oil, not the firstborn.
No, it's to act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God.
Wow. It's just simple, but so profound. It shifts everything from external ritual to internal character and, everyday conduct.
It's about how you actually live, how you treat people, your relationship with God, not just what you bring to the altar.
That's right. Justice, mercy, humility, those are relational, ethical things.
But the chapter doesn't just leave us with that positive command. It circles back to why the Lord brought this charge in the first place. It details the accusations.
Yes, it connects the lack of justice, mercy, and humility to the specific sins happening. The text talks about the wicked house in the city.
And it lists them out, doesn't mince words. Things like ill-gotten treasures, using a short iffa, basically. Cheating people in trade.
Dishonest scales, bags of false weights. It's describing systemic economic injustice. Cheating had become normal.
And it's not just financial dishonesty. It says the rich men are full of violence, the inhabitants speak lies, their tongues are deceitful, a complete breakdown of social trust.
A really grim picture. And the text links this behavior to following the ways of past bad leadership, mentioning the statutes of Omri and all the practices of Ahab's house.
Right, king's notorious for leading Israel into idolatry and injustice, so it suggests this isn't new, it's ingrained corruption.
And because of all this, the consequences are unfolding. The text describes this sense of futility and ruin.
Yeah, things like, you will eat but not be satisfied. You'll store up but save nothing.
You will sow but not reap. You will tread olives but not anoint yourselves with oil, and crush grapes but not drink the wine. Their own injustice is kind of reaping this harvest of nothingness.
It's a powerful cause and effect laid out. Their actions broke the relationship and the covenant, leading to the societal decay and personal emptiness.
So Micah 6 really presents this stark choice, this contrast. On one hand, you have this human idea of appeasing God with big, external, costly gestures.
Thousands of rams, rivers of oil.
And on the other hand, God's actual requirement. Act justly, love mercy, walk humbly, things that cost perhaps less in material wealth, but demand everything in terms of character and daily living.
It really challenges that impulse to think we can just, perform religion without letting it change how we actually live and treat others.
Exactly. It's about authenticity, justice, mercy, humility. They have to be real, lived out.
So it really brings us back to that core question, what does the Lord require? And that final phrase, to walk humbly with your God. What does that actually look like?
Hmm. Beyond the big gestures, beyond even just the acts of justice and mercy, what does that quiet, consistent, humble walk alongside God mean in the everyday?
Yeah, in the small choices, the attitudes, the way you approach life, that's definitely something for all of us to think about.